Hi guys, today and for the rest of this week, you are going to learn about photosynthesis. Prior to reading about it, I just wanted to go ahead and reintroduce it. You may remember some of this from 5th grade. So the reason for photosynthesis, or shall I say the whole end goal or product of photosynthesis. So let's go ahead and read over it. These foods that we eat, hopefully you all eat your fruits and veggies, they are composed of something called carbohydrates. Okay, carbohydrates, if you break it apart, there is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are elements. These are like all together creates a compound, and we'll learn about it. But this is what is used and also what is produced from photosynthesis. So from photosynthesis, carbohydrates are produced. So all of these items are produced. Now, I just wanted to show you this video because it's pretty cute, not quite interactive. However, it has some great pictures. First off, we need some photosynthesis needs some things to get started. Now, what does it need? It actually needs our air. In order for plants to produce sugar, to produce carbohydrates, it needs our air. Our air is mostly composed of the air that we breathe out, that we exhale, is composed of carbon dioxide. So this is a carbon dioxide compound, as you can see there. The carbon dioxide compounds enter through a little mouth in the leaf called a stomata. So it's like the leaf is sucking in our carbon dioxide because it really likes it and it actually needs it to get the process of photosynthesis started. Remember this word, stomata, okay? The little thing that's involved is a stomata. Can I clear that? Yep. Cool. Just FYI. Now, once the carbon dioxide, which is the gas, enters the stomata, the water enters through the roots. And we just saw that happening. These are water like compounds. So these little white things are the oxygen, or sorry, these little white things are the hydrogen, and this big red one is the oxygen, H2O, because there's two hydrogens. They actually go inside this little thing here inside the plant. Okay, just think about it. The water composed of hydrogen and oxygen gets sucked up from the roots, go all the way up through the stem, and they go inside the plant cells. And this is a huge cell over here. Like this is one cell, this is a part of a cell. Inside the cell, the water molecules or compounds go inside this little organelle. Now, an organelle is another name for an organelle, O-R-G-A-N-E-L-L-E. This is organelle. You can think of it as an organ of a cell. Okay, you know how humans have organs? We have our heart, we have our lungs. Well, this organelle is called a chloroplast, and it's actually an organ inside the plant cell. It's actually an organ inside the plant cell. Okay, I'm going to play this. Now here you go. That is the chloroplast. As you can see, it doesn't really have eyes, but inside the chloroplast, there are little things that are called a chlorophyll. So inside the chloroplast is filled up with something called a chlorophyll. Okay, you can think of it that way. Chlorophyll, chlorophyll, fill. It is filled up with chlorophyll. All right. And this is just providing you excess information as I erase this. There's like 20 to 100 of these little chloroplasts inside a cell. So overall, there's tons of those little chloroplasts. And from this, photosynthesis happens. Chloroplast is necessary. I'm going to go back because we'll go over a few things, but the chloroplast is actually necessary. This is what makes the color of the plant green. The chlorophyll is what makes the color of the plant green. Chloroplast organ, chlorophyll, P-H-Y-L-L, because it's filled up inside the chloroplast. It is like a pigment that makes the plant green, and it uses up all of the reactants that are within the photosynthesis process. It's like we have pigments in our skin that make us a different color. Okay. So first there's water, H2O, that goes inside that chloroplast. The chloroplast wants to break it apart because it wants to use everything that it has in it. It wants to separate the hydrogen, which are the whites, and the oxygen, which is this red atom, and it wants to break it apart because it wants to use each and every individual one of them. But it can't do that. It can't do that by itself. So what it uses is the sunlight. It uses radiant energy or solar energy, they're used interchangeably, to make this happen. So it needs sunlight to break apart that compound, and then it goes inside of the chloroplast. Chlorophyll is now filled up with these guys, and then together they create a compound. They create something that the plants use called glucose. Glucose is a fancy word for sugar. Glucose is a fancy word for sugar, and that's the chemical formula for it. Yep, so overall, don't worry about that. So overall, what you need to know is photosynthesis. It needs our carbon dioxide that we breathe out. It also gets it from burning fossil fuels because that produces carbon dioxide, which is a gas that we don't like. We like oxygen as humans. And what the plant does, what photosynthesis does, it takes hydrogen and oxygen from the water source, from its roots, the carbon from the carbon dioxide that we exhale, breathe out, and then with help from the sun, solar energy, inside the chloroplast, it creates a compound called glucose, which is sugar, and that is what it uses to create its own energy. Plants create their own energy, which is amazing, and we as consumers and other animals eat that plant to get that energy, to get that glucose, because that glucose is a carbohydrate. Cool. And that's it. You can rewatch this as much as you want.